All right, guys, do you hear us well? Can you, whoever is remote, could you please send?
Yes, we have. New York is here.
All right, we have a New York online and we have a Los Angeles here, the people, and let's get started. Let's see, where's Moops? Okay, here we go.
Good afternoon, everyone. Okay, so today is the first day of onboarding our basic, was it BQ number 6?
Yes.
Session. My name is Chang. I'm going to be one of the instructors for boot camp, and we're gonna kind of go over the agenda, what it's going to be like today, and the most important thing is when is our coffee break. So we're going to go ahead and go over the agenda, but before we do, we're going to introduce you to some of the team members that you're going to be seeing throughout the whole boot camp course. Agenda, just a quick brief overview. We'll try to keep to it because we have a lot to cover. First 10 minutes, we're gonna have mentors, teachers, team leads, and the support team. We wanna introduce ourselves. We want you to get to know us, and we don't want you to ever hesitate to send us any questions that you may have. We'll go over the boot camp schedule. We'll review the course and the rules, and obviously we're gonna give an insight as to what software quality assurance engineer is, software development lifecycle, a quick first overview, nothing crazy, and then the coffee break. And once we come back from our coffee break, we're going to do a quick stand up, and we'll get everybody familiar with that whole concept. After that, what does a software QA engineer do? We're going to do a quick practice. We'll look at the tools overview after that, some of the different projects and a homework, and we'll go ahead and introduce some special guests. And we always have time for some questions and answers. So without further ado, we are going to start with the team. So we have.
Yeah, let me start. Next, I mean, probably you guys know me somewhere, or I don't know. My name is Evgeny Kim. I'm co-founder of this bootcamp. I used to work in 5 different other companies since 2015, and I started the same thing that you're going to start. I started as a manual QA back in 2015, and I ended up to become a senior as that. And software development in test. So basically that was a transition within about 4 or 5 years. I've been working, lastly, my company called Verify. It was acquired by Visa recently, and previously was working on companies like Toyota, iCrossing, and been working with clients like Google, Amazon as well. And my first company was Age of Learning. And that's all my companies and projects that I was working on. And yeah, about my skills, I'm confident pretty much that I can say that I'm one of the best in passing the interviews. Within 6 months, I was going every week to the interview just for fun. I really like it, and anything about it, I can help you out definitely. Dennis, you want to introduce yourself real quick?
Yeah, hey guys. You could see some videos with me as well. So I worked, my last company was Cornerstone On Demand, but you probably never heard about that. It's actually a major company here in Los Angeles. And I was principal software developer in test working for United States Census Bureau. There's going to be a huge launch next year, but I quit. So anyways, wish them good luck. But previously I worked for major companies like Toyota, Disney, and yeah, you can see a couple of them. Hearst Corporation, maybe heard about that. Hearst Castle, huge media company, and a few other companies as well. So I'm a certified scale agile practitioner. And that's why this whole course is actually built around flexible methodologies like Agile Scrum. Yeah, this is my skills. So I'm pretty strong on interviews, and I'm actually very technical person. So I went through manual QA, the course that you're taking right now, all the way to principals that it's not even seniors that. So it's a technical support. It's like not managerial, but the technical. So I'm very strong with the coding, automation, API, testing out databases. And you will get to those things later in the course. And I was, yeah, you can see it's a course, it says course owner. I was kind of this course architect in the beginning as well. So there is a lot of my soul in this course. All right, thank you.
Thanks, Dennis. Marina, you're up.
Chen, can you please start my video? Guys.
Let me try, but I think.
Okay, guys. First, welcome our New York class. My name is Marina. Yes, I am a professional QA engineer. Right now, I'm currently working in a Disney streaming service as a QA lead. So also this course and TestPro, that's the part of my soul, and really doing really well here. Yes, and we will try to teach you everything what we know and as the best. Like here you can see like whole company where I worked before. It was like famous New York law company, Practice and Law Institute. Before I was working in the New York Daily News and in some bank in Ukraine. So that's my kind of experience. My overall experience in QA is 5 years. So that's pretty much it. So welcome guys. And yeah, next slide with my skills, please. Yes, that's, yeah. I'm totally, yeah guys, I'll try to do my the best, but yeah, we all testing gurus here, so you can see like I'm really proficient in interviews and testing, like all type of testing. So yeah, I hope you will enjoy this course.
Thank you.
Thanks, Marina. All right, guys, I'm Cheng. I was currently at stamps.com. That's where I started my QA journey. I started as a manual tester, and I was actually there for close to 10 years, and then I got a job offer as a QA lead over at Viking Cruises, which I am currently at. So just for everybody here, we all started somewhere, so don't get overwhelmed. We're definitely here to help you in this whole entire journey and make the understanding of quality assurance and transitioning over to software engineering tests a smooth process. Just the companies that I've been through, I fall in love a lot with the people that I work with. I can't seem to leave. Same thing with Viking. Great communication. I love to test. I'm getting there with the coding. Definitely something I want to master next year is Python scripting and Selenium, completely program that. I want that underneath my belt. I have a Scrum Master certification, and we are all gurus at testing. And our next presenter is Azad.
Hey guys, I didn't know my slide was there actually. Yeah, I used to work like my last job before I joined like full-time at TestPro. I used to work in China Market. I'm not sure if you guys heard about this company, but you probably all heard about Whole Foods, right? So China Market is a Whole Foods, but Whole Foods offline, by Market online. And because it's online, it's cheaper. And they kind of like popularize the healthy living lifestyle and all of that. So I started to work there as a QA automation engineer, and I've been promoted to the STAT, which is software development engineering test. And I ended up being a lead STAT. It's basically kind of like more like management related, but I was like training like people how to become like automation engineers, how to become that. And before I quit, I had like 3 people who was reporting to me. But before that, yeah, I also had experience as a manual QA as well. So I started as a manual QA, like manual mobile QAs, and I'm just like, starting to grow. And this is like basically my overview of the company. So you can find me on LinkedIn. Feel free to add me. Yeah, and this is like a list of the companies that I used to work. Yeah, come over, guys. So yeah, TriMarket, TouchCommerce, Beachbody, you probably guys heard of their P90X program. Like I never used it actually, but I know it was quite popular. And yeah, that's my skills. I'm good at coding because I am main instructor for our automation bootcamp. So probably like after you will finish this bootcamp, you will find a job and you will see like more challenges for yourself and you want to become automation engineers. You probably, like most of the students that join us again and becoming QA automation engineers. It's kind of like more technical. So, so you will need to know like how to code and everything. Yeah, it's pretty much.
Thank you.
And we also have George. He's not here with us yet, but he will be. You will see him later on. He has over 15, I believe, years as a QA manager. So as you see, guys, you like our pool of teachers. We are not really actually teachers. We're actually professionals in the field, and we just share the knowledge, right? And we have different type of professionals, from manual to more technical and to managerial positions as well. So this guy, he actually one of those who will be interviewing you, and you will be going through the interview process, right? So eventually. Let's move on. I'm not sure, I think Tatiana is not here also with us, but she's located in Denver. And George, by the way, he located in Seattle. Marina located in New York, so we're all over the place here. And the reason is why we're doing this way, because in the, let me tell you what's gonna happen, right? And what you're gonna do here. It's a boot camp. Bootcamp, it's not really actual class like you got used to in the college probably or somewhere else. It is an imitation of the real work scenarios, or like real hands-on working practices, right? And in the real world, you have to work with teams who, or like maybe not even teams, maybe with teammates who will be working remotely. And that's why we have a class in New York. That's why we have remote teachers. And that's the easiest way, like just to give you a feeling how to work remotely, right? And we'll go over that a little bit later with the tools. Tatiana, as I said, she is right now working as a senior QA engineer at Denver. And she has also really hands-on experience with API, backend testing, and mobile testing as well. I think that
these are her list of companies.
Yeah, that's her companies and so
skill sets and her experience.
Yeah. So that's about us. That's about it.
All right, thanks guys.
Thank you.
All right, we're gonna start. We want you guys to meet the team. During the whole course boot camp, there's a lot of homework assessments, and we have a team of professionals who will check it. And we also have help desk team that's always on duty to help you guys. So we have a bunch of people that we've just introduced from different walks of life and also from different states. The boot camp schedule. So the boot camp schedule for this session, it's Tuesdays and Thursdays from 7 to 8 Pacific Standard Time. We have the online and the on-site class on Saturdays, 1:30 to 4 Pacific Standard Time, and there's no classes on federal holidays. So the boot camp curriculum, it's 12 weeks. It's a hybrid online and offline course. We utilize real tools and real techniques. We're just like any tech companies, pretty much using the different environments for testing. We cover theory, practice with real projects. We do resume and interview prepping. We have one-on-one mentorships, and the first week sessions are free. This is the week that you guys should take the time to think about it, ask questions. If you guys have any doubts or concerns, we're here to help you. It's a fast-moving course, and we definitely want to address any concerns that you guys have. So these are all the URLs that you can get to for the bootcamp curriculum, and then our rules and policies should be in here. You guys can take that on your own time to visit those. If you have any questions, just ping us, message us, and we can answer anything, but we won't cover it in class. So does anybody in class today and online familiar with what a quality assurance engineer is? What's your name?
Natalia.
Natalia. Natalia is somewhat familiar. Can you just give us just what your idea like?
Yes, so the main purpose of the quality assurance engineers, in my understanding, is to find bugs or problems in the software or the website to find and address it to the actual developer.
Okay.
So the end user have the best user's experience.
Spot on, spot on. What does an engineer, so it sounds like what you described was more of a manual tester, but we progress into being an engineer. I mean, in the real world, that pretty much covers even a manual tester, but pretty much spot on. You have to have a good user experience for the people who's going to use your products. And just a reading of what's presented here is a software quality assurance engineer, someone who monitors every phase of the software development process so that it's ensured the design quality, making sure that the software adheres to the standards set by the development company. Software quality assurance engineers make sure that new products work before they are released to the public. So what does a software quality assurance engineer do? There's a variety of tasks, and we're going to list them here, simple and straightforward. A software quality assurance engineer is involved in tasks that include software design, writing source code, control of source code, reviewing code, configuration management, change management, program testing, integration of software, and release management process. He or she will typically break up the entire process into goals such as verifications, activities, measurements, abilities, and commitments. By doing this, they can not only keep the task from becoming overwhelming, but maintain complete control over the entire project as well. So, you know, if in a real world, if every single product, software, apps, operating systems, you name it, everything from cars to actual products to a chair that we're sitting on, if everything was perfect, there would be no positions as QA, right? But things aren't perfect, just like we aren't perfect. So there's always jobs looking for somebody to review and analyze and see if this is supposed to be what it should be. Like, is a chair built to be a chair? Is a pen gonna write like a pen's going to do? There's somebody that's gonna perform that quality assurance, always. So till our dying days, you know, somebody's going to, those positions are always needed. So the more that we perfect it, the more that we get trained on into real world examples, you're set. You know, you have the experience to just constantly go and move around into different products and just have that kind of experience. Software, so who is a software quality assurance engineer? Software quality assurance engineers must also be able to see to it that the final product not only meets with company and governmental guidelines, but also reaches the consumer market at the time appointed by the company. Delays can be very costly for the company, so the software quality assurance engineer must work closely with all departments to make sure the software project is not only on time, but on budget as well. Again, we want the best user experience, right? You buy something, you get it, and if it's a piece of you know what, you're gonna complain about it because it's the money that you've spent. So every time you become a tester or every time you're in a position like this, think about you as a consumer. Think about you who's actually gonna buy this product that you're working on and the other person is looking at it. If you feel that that product isn't up to the standards, do you think the person who's buying it is going to feel the same way? They're probably gonna think it's crap too. So what you put into it, own it. And I think somebody has a little echoing over there, but being a quality assurance engineer is being able to own, being responsible about the product that you're gonna have the consumer buy. I mean, everything's responsible, but you also have to understand the bigger picture of your position. It has involvement with other teams. You know, you have people who are VPs who are saying, you know, we can only release certain amount of stuff. We can only have certain amount of features. Just because you're looking at a product to make sure it looks smoothly and runs smoothly for the consumer, in this boot camp, we're also giving you an insight to like, we definitely want this perfection, but we also want you to be aware of everything that goes into being in this position. The money that takes from the company to get the product in development, you know, we'll cover the whole software development lifecycle. It's just understanding the whole process, understanding like when you go into an interview, when they're saying like, you know, if we only have a certain amount of time, what do you think is the most important fixes? What do you think consumers will appreciate more? Should we fix this? Should we fix that? They're gonna ask you because you guys are the eyes and ears of what a product looks like. You know, everything is just not like, oh, I really want this. And then you're just going to be like, I'm going to fix it. There's a lot of things involved, and we'll cover the software development lifecycle further along in the course. So software quality assurance engineers are sometimes confused with software testers. Software testers test parts of the software at different stages of development, whereas a software quality assurance engineer oversees the entire development process, which includes software testing from start to finish. The monetary success of the software product is largely due in part of the quality of the product, as well as the product's ability to hit the market on time. Both are the responsibility of the software quality assurance engineer. So here we want you to ask yourself this question. Are you suited to be a software quality assurance engineer? Software quality assurance engineers have distinct personalities. They tend to be investigative individuals, which means they are intellectual, introspective, and inquisitive. They are curious, methodical, rational, analytical, and logical. Some of them are also conventional, meaning they are conscientious and conservative. One second. Does any one of you online and any one of you on site, do you guys have one of the items listed in here? You're in here because you have one of these qualities, right? And I think every single person actually, even if you don't realize your skill set, you're probably QAing your stuff. Like if something goes wrong, right? If you upgrade the iOS, like I was notified this morning that there's an iOS upgrade tonight that's gonna go into effect. Tomorrow, if I'm using an app and if it breaks, I'm gonna be QAing that. I'm gonna complain to whoever broke that app, you know, whether it's, I don't know, like my Instagram app, if it breaks, I'll go ahead and QA and I'll send it to somebody to tell them, hey, look, the update last night, it broke. So every single one of us have an inquisitive mindset. Like well, first of all, we're paying customers, right? if you're paying for something, if it breaks, you guys are going to be on top of it. So you guys all have that inquisitive mindset, but it takes a step further for actually the investigative process to kick in. Like, are you the kind of person to be like, it breaks, let me wait for the software update, give me 2 more weeks, I won't touch that. That's not a QA mindset. You're just waiting, you're just letting it, hopefully it'll fix itself. That's not a QA mindset. You're literally on top of it. You want to get it to work. You're going to look and see what's going on. And this whole boot camp is going to give you the tools to see, oh, it broke because maybe I had the latest Chrome, or I haven't updated my Chrome, whether you're looking at the software on a browser or stuff like that. There's a lot of stuff that you can take a look at that will define if you are the right candidate for a quality assurance engineer. So what's the workplace of a software quality assurance engineer like? Software quality assurance engineers usually work in the comfortable surroundings of an office or lab for about 40+ hours per week, with some nights and weekends depending on deadline requirements or group meeting times. And employers may include computer system design companies, computer and electronic manufacturers, or software publishers. Does anybody currently work in this kind of environment?
No.
No? You do? What is your take on your?
I was working in my country in television company, but I didn't used to do this kind of job. It was lighting design.
Okay. But you sat in an office. Yeah, it's a typical mindset, but I believe in more of a tech companies. They give you food. They give you lots of candy. They give you lots of really junky snacks sometimes, but not all the time. But they want you to stay. They even actually have gyms for you. I mean, it's the state-of-the-art kind of thing. When you're working in this particular field, almost always they're up to date, latest and the greatest. Like they understand that people who are coming into this particular position are probably taking a boot camp like this, realizing what's up to speed. Like, you're not going to be looking at like old stuff, you're not going to be back in the dark ages. You're up to the latest, greatest, meaning you're either a person who wants to keep up with everybody else, like you don't have time to go to the gym, or you're not commuting, they'll allow you to work from home. So in this particular like positions, companies are very nice. They're actually very accommodating, because they actually want to get the product out at a certain timeline, and they understand like kind of like life work balance. They understand that, so they're a lot more accommodating.
Yeah, for example, in my company, we had unlimited vacation time and massage in the office.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so yeah, they have monthly massages, or at Viking, they have like monthly bagels, which is like a lot of carbs, so I don't need that. But then they have a gym to help you, work those bagels off. Either or, so you can be the most fit person, or you can just love to eat bagels. They're a very accommodating place.
Just one letter difference.
Let me add here something.
Yeah.
I mean, if you guys want to feel how it looks like, come to our next meetup.
Yeah.
The next meetup actually will be next week.
23rd. October
24th, El Segundo, correct. Yeah, that's gonna be one of the company who is actually looking for QA engineers, and they invited us to host a meetup. So people who potentially who want to apply there, they can see and they can feel the vibe of the company, and you will see there are a lot of free food, even. I'm not sure if they.
Come on, everything is there.
Yeah, I'm not sure if they do beer, but usually like some companies they provide wine and kind of all these cool perks, So if you have time, just come over next week, For people who might be in San Diego, we're gonna do another meetup there as well next week. So if you're in San Diego for some reason, just join there too. That's pretty much it. And you can, instead of seeing what we're talking about, you just can see what's really going on there, right?
Yeah, and the way we get to that company where we're hosting meetup, we actually have 2 students working there.
So we actually have reviews. So you can go to these meetups and actually meet these people who've gone through the boot camp and can speak for themselves. And I'm going to read this. I'm going to add to this one. Software quality assurance engineer can spend very long periods sitting in front of a computer typing or looking at programming code, which can lead to eye strain and back discomfort. Some software companies like Electronic Arts often have basketball courts, gyms, and even nap areas in an attempt to keep their staff focused and efficient. By offering these services, the employee gets a chance to break away from their computers when needed. Like Evgeny mentioned, I strongly advise, even if you guys have even a little bit of time, go stop by the companies that the meetups are being hosted at. Every single company is so different, but what you feel is the excitement. Like, oh, wow, this is a really nice company. Like if you go to Beachbody, you walk in, they have like these outdoor open facilities. You look like you're in Palm Springs. Like it's amazing. How do you not want to work out at Beachbody, even though like I'm not going to do the P90X, but it's amazing to feel the energy. Forget about you being a position, but you actually getting excited about a company you work for means you're going to get excited about the product that you're going to be testing. Like if you're a fitness person, that's like on top of like you being a QA person, you know, you're QAing of this program, the streaming service, and somebody's exercising in it and it stops like right there. Why did it freeze? Like what allowed that particular video to freeze? You can QA that. You can go ahead and try to recreate the issue and not have that streaming service be so buggy if maybe there's so much demand or stress on a particular group of people trying to get to that video. There's a lot of things, but I tell you guys to go to these meetups because it gives you an insight to like, oh my God, I could be working here. I went to Thrive. I think Azat was there last time, and Thrive was amazing. How much food did they give? Like, it's just so much food at Thrive. I just don't understand. And it's like by Santa Monica. It's a beautiful location, you know, and Hulu has all these like knickknacks. Don't they have like a vending machine where like free ear pods or something come out and like all of these electronic goodies? Like it's amazing to look at what company you could possibly get into. And that's how you get excited and you're like, oh, I could do this, I could do that, you know? I work for Viking Cruises and I didn't even know about Viking Cruises. So Viking Cruises is for people with a lot of money. You have to be like 70 and you're college educated. So it was never in my mind. One of my prior managers recommended me and I went ahead and looked into it. And I'm going on a cruise in November and I got really excited because I'm going to Bali and Bangkok, but I got really excited and you go into that place and it's huge company. It's like, it's like 8,000 employees all over the world. And I just want to make whatever I'm queuing a good product so that when people actually are testing and looking at it, that they don't have issues, because I'm also the consumer now. I'm literally going on a cruise and I want to make sure that product is good. So if you guys have time, come Thursday, don't be shy. There are people there who are experts and they probably won't even talk, but at least you can pick their brain and get an idea what it's like to be a software quality assurance engineer. All right, guys. Earlier I've been saying software development lifecycle. So what is it? So the software development lifecycle, also commonly known as SDLC, is a process used by the software industry to design, develop, and test high-quality software. The software development lifecycle aims to produce high-quality software that meets or exceeds customer expectations. It reaches completion within times and cost estimates. Again, SDLC is the acronym of the software development lifecycle. And it's a framework that defines tasks performed at each step in the software development process. I'm not expecting you guys to memorize this. Don't memorize it. It's all part of this whole process. I'm probably going to ask you tomorrow, you're probably, what? I don't even know. Did you guys even talk about SDLC? That's not what we're here for. It's for you to understand it and have it be kind of a conversation. Like, you should know it, not by memorization, but what you're doing in this boot camp. It's the whole process of this boot camp is just understanding what gets incorporated into this development of the software from the start to finish. So the first part is planning. The outputs of the planning phase includes project plans, schedules, cost estimations, procurements, requirements. Second, requirements and analysis. The business communicates with the IT teams to convey their requirements for new development and enhancements. The requirement phase gathers these requirements from business stakeholders and subject matter experts. Once the requirements are understood, that's part of the design. Software architects and developers can begin to design the software. The design process uses established patterns for application, architecture, and software development. Fourth, implementation. This phase produces the software under development. Depending on the methodology, this phase may be conducted in time-box sprints, agile, or maybe proceed as a single block of effort waterfall. Fifth, testing and integration. It's the testing phase of the SDLC is arguably one of the most important. That's where we come in. It is impossible to deliver quality software without testing. And 6 is maintenance. The operation and maintenance phase is the end of the beginning, so to speak. The software development lifecycle doesn't end here. Software must be monitored constantly to ensure proper operation. I'm going to make this the easiest to understand, and you guys can ask me any questions during this if it sounds confusing. When you go into a company, there's gonna be the VP or whoever's the big people. We're not involved. They're gonna do the planning. They're gonna say, hey, you know what? I have this idea and I want, I don't know, the doors to open automatically by using an app that we'll build, that I'll design and build. And I want them to press an app and open the door or have the doors unlocked, whatever the idea, that's in the planning stage. So you have these people who are doing the budgets in your company, who's having ideas, and they're like, I want this and this and that. That's considered the planning process. This is the start of the software development lifecycle. All right, they're not technical. They just say, I want this, I want that. Then you have another team who are great at writing documents, who are great at saying, this is what it should be from 1, 2, 3. They're experts in that field, right? They take down whatever the VP, the people who have the big money, into words, and they translate them in a documentation, and they make it nice and pretty in a little paper, and they go around and saying, do you approve of this planning and requirements? Is this what you want the product that you were talking about to look like? Easiest, right? That's the second part. That's the requirements and analysis. Obviously, I'm making it very simple, plain English for you, but pretty much the business saying, this VP, he wants this. Can you tell me what it needs? Do we need like a bunch of, servers up? Do we need databases? Do we need all of this? These are all the planning that's involved. Then they go to their design team. Well, the VP wanted this, and then, these are the requirements in order to get this done. And the design team, people that does the UI, they do like the mock-ups, they start writing the graphics, they do a Photoshop, Adobe, whatever, Envision app. There's a lot of different tools where these people who are creative, I'm not creative, I don't know colors to put and stuff like that, but they're designing it. They're designing the app. The people who made Instagram orange and purple hue, these came from the people in design, right? They're the one that says this needs to look like this. So they're part of that design process. They're moving down the life cycle. So they've got the requirements, they've got the design, now they're gonna implement it. They're gonna talk to the people who needs to say, okay, who do we need? We need QA people, we need developers who, how do we wanna program this particular app or software, desktop, like if they're gonna go on their computer, do we want it on an application first? Do we want it strictly on mobile devices? Do we want it on tablet? How do we wanna implement this? How do we want this app to work? The VP wants an app to open the door. How are we gonna get this done? So you talk about the implementation, you kind of get a strategy going. That's part of implementation. Everything gets built, blah, blah, blah. Developers, code stuff, get it all done. And they deliver it to you in this phase called the testing and integration. That's primarily where quality assurance engineers fall into place during this whole cycle. They fall into place in phase 5. They're the one who, we are the ones creating the test plans. You know, we're the ones that saying, oh, okay, you want this app, let's start breaking it down. So you want this app to open the doors. Okay, I'm a QA engineer. I'm gonna analyze like all these test cases. Do you want it to automatically open from a certain time? Do you want it to automatically close at a certain time? These are all the things that you start thinking about testing these apps once it's ready for you. And maintenance. Maintenance comes from automation. You know, once you build this app, you keep on adding new features to it. Now that this door is open, you're gonna start adding windows to it. Windows are gonna start automatically open and being controlled by this app. So you start building, but that doesn't mean that you're not maintaining and making sure that the first product that you made, which is opening the door, hasn't broken because you've added windows or you've added ladders or whatever. You need to maintain to make sure what you built from the beginning still works, that it didn't get broken because we added new features or we added something to fix something. So you're always maintaining, and that's part of the whole life cycle phases. Is that easy to understand? Clear? Everybody online, was that clear to you guys? Thumbs up would be great. All right. What is a software development lifecycle again? So among the key stakeholders of a software project are the following 8 key roles and their corresponding responsibilities. We have the project sponsor, we have the subject matter experts, we have the product owner, we have the project manager, we have a technical lead, we have software developers, and we have QA engineers. All play a specific role in that whole process. You could even have a person in the planning, like for instance, a VP might actually call a QA engineer, maybe because he knows that QA engineer knows the product by now. After 2 or 3 years, you get to know these people, you get to integrate with them. You start finding out who the product owner is. You start finding out who the project manager, you get familiar with all these teams. They're gonna ask you to sometimes participate in the planning because they want your expertise. You've been testing this product. Now that they're gonna go ahead and add a new idea 3 years later, they're gonna have you jump in the planning. So you may be participating in any part of this whole cycle. So don't just limit yourself to that portion of number 5 where you're just ultimately testing. You could be brought into any portion of that life cycle to add your 2 cents because you know what, they value your opinion. When you start getting into that kind of process, you realize you have a really good role in that company. For them to value your opinion that much, for you to be a part of that whole process from beginning to end, that's a good reminder that they value your expertise, what you're doing in the company, that you're doing a good thing, that's why they're asking you to participate in every single part of this. You know, when you come in, you're probably only be participating in the testing portion of it because they don't know what you can bring to the table. But when you start realizing, oh, I guess they're asking me if this is the best way to implement this, and this is really like a good idea. I'm not even testing this, but they just want my input. That's a good idea that you're doing the right things in your company. I have a question from Shukrat online. Who are the stakeholders? The stakeholders, the company, the big bosses, mainly like the people who's making the budgets. We can be a little bit granular. It could be the stakeholders, could be people who are investing the money into it, you know, people who are really hoping that when they say, I want this done, are waiting for this feature or product to be done. It could be the VP. It could be the CEO. There's a bunch of people that are considered the stakeholders. Does that answer your question, Shukrat? And maintenance guys, for Kanan asked, what about maintenance guys? We are the maintenance people. We are the QA assurance engineers. We'll go ahead and create the test cases, the test plans, and we'll continually maintain it. And that's something we'll go over as we progress through the boot camp. Normally, I'm so sorry, I got distracted by a question. But we are the ones who's maintaining and keeping the test cases together. We're maintaining the automation suites, all of that. Again, all of that's going to be discussed throughout this bootcamp course. Shukrat said, can QA testers be share stakeholders, I believe? No, not most of the time. It doesn't really happen. I think it's rare unless you're actually the person who's actually the owner and the tester, and you're actually putting the money in it, and it really depends on you getting a certain project out the door on a particular deadline, then you're gonna be a stakeholder. But QA testers normally don't have the initial planning or the funds invested in trying to get that out the door. Does that make sense? Okay, guys, we actually finished a little bit earlier than our coffee break time. Do you guys have any questions?
I do have a question.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I do have a question. Like, if I'm actually a tester right now and I got a like basic like information about all this, how it works, do you have any choice to get like all this kind of positions, like getting close to this position later? Like as soon as I got this job, for example, I got this couple years experience. I got in the office and I decided like, is this really able to get like all this knowledge, because I have no idea what this knowledges are. I cannot like give a list of this knowledge that is like, you need it to be like a guy who is a project manager, for example, for the next year, I'm going to be a project manager, right? Is this a possibility to make it happen?
Absolutely.
From here?
Absolutely. So I believe, I'll give you guys a quick rundown of how I started QA. I was in accounting. I was a controller, like a senior manager, and the job housing went bust in 2008. Like nobody was hiring accounting, but I had a computer background. And so I was just applying everywhere. And I got a technical call center agent at stamps.com. I was literally troubleshooting printers for stamps.com. I hated taking calls from people after 2 or 3 months. Like I literally told my supervisor, I'm gonna quit. I hate these people. Excuse me. She's like, no, we have another position for you. Why don't you try applying for a junior QA? So I started doing that. I was surprised that I actually even got the job, but I did. And I worked myself up, and I'm now a QA server backend engineer. I never even thought that that was possible. People who've been in my role actually have become a product owner, everything that you're doing and what you're seeing, you can all achieve to become that. You can actually take a project manager certification because you've actually got the skills and the experience once you start going down this route. You could even actually become a software developer, which I'm learning next year as well too, because I don't want to just limit myself to just being a QA manual tester, just a QA lead.
That's why I'm asking about that.
Yeah, it's extremely achievable. It's how fast you want to get there, and the more time and effort you put into studying. Like I can't even tell you how many people have been promoted from being a QA manual tester into a project manager.
Yeah, let me add here something to your question, right? So the thing is that manual QA will be the entry level to tech world. And I also believe that's the easiest way to get into that and actually getting paid pretty well. So the problem is you will face in the future that the level of stress and the level of not the responsibility, but the level of stress and the level of benefits is going to be the same as compared to product manager. I actually got from my previous company, I had the possibility to move to product manager, but what I find out that they actually getting the same money that I was doing the software testing, but the level of stress was way different, right? Those people are on the call, and if some weird shit is going on, they will be the first line of defense, definitely, right? So the same thing with you can move to actually, multiple people were moving to software engineering. So they became, from software tester, they became software engineers. It requires coding skills, and we actually cover this on the other boot camp. Though you will definitely make more money, and actually I believe that's the most desirable things that you can do is just to level up your skills in coding. Not for everyone, but some people want just, okay, I want to be a project manager, right? That's another path. And some people, no, I don't want to talk to people, and I just like what I want to do. I mean, with the coding, I like to see what I'm creating. And actually you can learn test automation, which is involved coding, or you can go and move on to become a software engineer, right? It's a different route, but the same thing. Well, when you became a software test engineer, which is actually require a little bit coding, you will get in some companies, they're actually getting paid more than actually product manager, for example. But most of the time, they are getting paid the same level as software engineers. So it's pretty much the same thing. It's up to you. There is no actual limitation. Obviously, if you want to become, your ultimate goal is to become a product owner or project manager, yeah, very, very achievable. I have a lot of people who actually also transitioned, like Chan just said. Same thing with software engineering, same thing. The sky's the limit. But definitely I believe that's the easiest way to get into tech world. Anybody is actually in tech yet? No? I mean, we have people, our students have very different background. We had some students actually who used to be a software engineers and they want to become a software QA. We have those people. We have people who was networking engineers and they decided to move to QA because, what's your background?
I worked in telecommunication company as a network administrator, then billing administrator, then database administrator, and
here we go.
Big experience of IT.
Yeah, we have a student here in Los Angeles. What's your name? Hiran. He had background in database administrator, IT networking administrator as well, right? Yeah, actually very close my friend. He's actually on a previous boot camp. He also used to be IT administrator. So the problem is that, not the problem, the challenge with IT support is also the job demands, right? It's definitely not that, I mean, the supplies and demands is not there as, for example, right now, software development, software engineering. So welcome. It's awesome. It's going to be for you a little bit easier, but don't take it granted. All right, and anybody has a question so far? QA engineers also monitor maintenance role after product release.
Yes.
Yes, they are. They do monitor and maintenance role when the product is released. Actually, this process is always going to be going on. It's not the only one process. You release the product and forget about it. No, actually, most of the companies, they actually release, right? Let's open your phone. Those apps that you have in the phone, they're always constantly in development mode. You might don't even think about it once you know when for example you open the app and you didn't open the app for a while, like let's say a month or so, it's logged out, right? So what happened, they on the background they released the new version and they installed in the app to your phone right away without knowing it, right? So that's always going on process, like nonstop. That's why software testers, software engineers, they're high in demand. All those apps, they have a software engineering teams which QA the part of this team, right? Usually it's about, the team is 10 people with between 6 to 7 engineers and 3 to 4 QAs, it depends. In some companies, could be more, could be less, but it's about it. So that's pretty much it.
So Shaknoza, you had a question? Oh. Okay.
Let me put here.
Yeah.
All right, Shaknoza, you can speak up if you want. We can take a couple more questions. You're able to speak up if you want. And Isulu, I see also she raised her hand and allowed to talk. You can go ahead, Isulu. Whoever's first. Yes, no, yes, no.
Well, hard for people.
Okay. Is QA job will hard for people who not good at mathematics? Well, let me put it this way. Mathematics not straight correlate to the QA jobs or tech world. What is mathematics? It's a problem solving, right? It's not, it's like algorithm of how to solve the problem. That's actually very crucial in tech as well, in QA. If you're not good at math, it doesn't matter. It doesn't mean that you are good in problem solving, but it's usually, if you're good in problem solving, you're usually good in math. However, it's not required. I mean, there's no requirements, right? And to be honest, my personality, I'm not that technical at all. Like, even though I was able to manage to achieve those goals, actually, it doesn't really matter. Are you good in math or not? It depends on, are you dedicated? Are you willing to solve the problem? Are you willing to, I mean, you know, some people, they naturally like to do this. Some people, they're forcing. It depends what's your motivation, right? If you feel that maybe you are not, it's not for you, you have to you have to try. I cannot tell you for you. For some people even who are good at math, they're actually not good at QA. I saw those people as well. It's, you know, it's case by case. There's no straightforward correlation about it. Anybody else?
You're welcome. She or he?
Shaknoza, I mean, you're able to speak up, Shaknoza?
Oh, she is on microphone.
Okay.
It's okay.
All right, guys, let's take a really short 5 minutes coffee time break. 10 minutes?
10 minutes. It's a 10-minute coffee break. Right? So we'll come back at 2:40.
2:40. All right, great.
Thanks, everyone. Change roll to attendee.
And
Pause.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we are back from our coffee break. We are going to do stand-up time. It's exactly what it is. We're going to stand up, but we're not going to do it here. You can if you want. In my company, in pretty much agile Scrum meetings, we do a stand-up, and it literally is what it is. It's a 5-minute stand-up, and the teams that are involved will get in a room, usually your Scrum Master, the person who's kind of organizing the coordination of that project, will say, hey, we're gonna meet every morning at 9 a.m. and everybody's gonna tell us what they did yesterday, what they're gonna do today, and what's blocking them, whether it's the defect or whatever that's preventing them from completing something. So I am going to say, let's just say, yesterday I completed the feature on submitting payments for an excursion, meaning booking some kind of event or so. I tested it, everything looks good. Today, I'm going to try to test the ticket where we're allowing them to buy alcohol and pay for it. But today I'm blocked because I don't have the ticket where the core API call is calling to the database to grab the different prices from different country prices. I don't have that ready, so I cannot really, I'm trying to test that, but I can't do that. That's every morning. Every morning they do a stand-up. Have you guys heard of it? Are you guys familiar with it? You're familiar, right? Anybody on the other side? Okay, it looks like everybody got it on the other side. That's just a quick stand up, and that's what we're going to do when we start this boot camp. We are going to ask you to give us a quick stand up of what you felt or what you did yesterday, whether it's doing the homework yesterday, whether you went ahead and filed some bug tickets today, or you're aiming to file bug tickets, and what's preventing you. Maybe it's because we weren't clear about the homework instructions. You could go ahead and do that. 3 quick answers to those 3 quick questions. It's not about the time, it's not a time where you're going to tell us your life story. We don't care if it's your birthday yesterday. I don't want to hear all of that. Like, make it short, make it quick, because we have like about 6 or 7 other people in the room. So make sure when you're in a company, you're not telling people that your dog died. I'm very sorry, I'm very sorry, but that's not the announcement that we make in our stand-up. It's completely related to our project.
Keep in mind, you have to stand up. So don't make other people wait for you.
That's the purpose of stand-up, to be quick and alert. And if people start leaning and everything, they're trying to tell you, hurry up and finish talking. Okay, what does a software quality assurance engineer do? We break things, always, and we love it. So let's find our first bugs. And bugs are everywhere. We're not talking about the actual bugs, but on websites, on really famous websites. And we're gonna go to the LA Times. For you guys over there, go ahead and access this URL and scroll to the bottom of the page. In-house, we're gonna look at the bottom of this page. When you go down to the Los Angeles Times website and you go all the way down and you click this terms of service, there's a red link. There's a huge red link. So for people on the other side, if you guys are following me, go ahead and do exactly what I'm doing. Go to the LA Times website, scroll all the way to the bottom and click terms of service. And you'll find this mandatory arbitration and class action waiver section. You click on it. we found our first bug. Not really, I'm sure you guys have found more bugs ever. Just don't know it yet, but now that you're QA people, you'll start realizing all this. So this is a bug. You guys think it's minor. You guys may have overlooked it. You might, you may have experienced this where you're clicking on certain URLs and it's blank. It might not be something to you, but it might be something to a lawyer who's ready to sue that company, right? But you, the tester at LA Times, missed this bug. You didn't report it. You may have reported it, but it just probably didn't get fixed because it wasn't in the product owner's minds or the stakeholder or whoever it is that was supposed to be in charge in getting this fixed. It didn't get fixed. Things that are minor that you think are not minor to people outside of the company. Even if it's a little UI thing, we have people here in this world who are handicapped, who are limited, right? Who can't read, who rely on particular machines to help them hear, to help them see. We have a lot of people with different backgrounds, with different walks of life, different limitations. So when we have issues that don't seem normal, even if you have no experience being a QA tester, if you've never been a QA tester before, when you look at a URL, when you click somewhere and it's just black, that's a problem. Whether or not, even if you're like my parents, when, they don't speak English, and when they click on something and it goes black, they come to me to troubleshoot their issue, but I'm not a developer. I can only report the bug. It's an issue. They may not speak English, but these, people use your products, right? And I don't know if you guys have heard about the whole, in Los Angeles, or just I think generally in the US, bathrooms need to be at a certain level for people who are on wheelchairs, right? You guys know that, right? And if they're not, there's these lawyers and there's these people that go around and sue the small business owners, the companies that don't have the doorknob around the same height as the wheelchair, right? So think about that. Think about your experience. Think about how it relates to website testing, how it relates to software testing, how it relates to app testing. As we get older and as people are living longer, people are now incorporating accessibility testing. And it's a huge thing in my company because the people that are buying these cruises are probably people who are 70 years and older. So they either have glasses, they either have a hearing aid, some of them do, or some of them have limitations. So when they're tabbing or they're using voice controlled audio to go from tab to tab, and if they say, hit enter in this tab and it goes blank, and there's no way, there's no buttons to take them different way, they're gonna call up their lawyer or whoever, and they may sue Viking, or they may sue someone. Somebody's gonna be responsible, right? Because in this world, everybody's lawsuit happy. Take a step back. How could we as a QA person prevent this? We could have tested all of these URLs. We could have made sure we couldn't let this website go out with this issue in the first place. When you start having this mindset of being a QA tester, from the apps you click, from the alarm clock you use, from everyday things, you'll start seeing little things that help you become a tester, that help you become experienced tester. When you're going into this position, one of the reasons why we went ahead and made sure that we ask if you have the personality is, if you're looking at a website, and you say, looks good to me, then you're not a QA person. A QA person will find everything and almost anything wrong with that website, down to like a little pixel of a letter or something, because you're always thinking about what could be better, right? What could work better, what your experience is to making it better. That's what a QA mentality is you're not just accepting what's given to you. You want more, you want improved things. Here's a mobile application bug. I mean, how many times do you see where the graphics and the text, that's horrible. A QA tester missed this. And this is I believe this is either, Chase credit card when you go to the Chase app. You know, I mean, Chase is a huge corporation, huge. This is like website testing, this browser testing, this is mobile testing, this is like tablet testing. This is all viewports. You know, in some companies, you have QA people who are strictly mobile testers, QA who are strictly browser testing people. So there's a lot of positions open. Every single day, something's wrong. There's something that needs to be fixed. I guarantee you the biggest and the baddest companies, including Amazon, will have issues that you can find. There is not a company, I guarantee you, that is not without bugs, whether it's UI, whether it's functional, whether it's a variety of things, they'll have issues. And that's what your job is. It's you need to just look at stuff and be able to say, there's an issue. Bug report. There's this application or this tool, it's called Jira. Jira has bugs too, so just letting you know. And every company really, what is like 70% or so, most of the companies using Jira now? Yeah, pretty much. If you go to a company and you do an interview, they're like, are you familiar with Jira? Of course, you've seen it now. This is what Jira looks. It's pretty much
Well,
there.
we're going to be working on it actually, yeah.
Yeah, you're going to be familiar, but don't put it on your resume yet. You want to know exactly what you're going to put on your resume because they're going to ask you about it. But Jira is pretty much a tool that says, you do this, I do that. And the part of like implementation portion, that's kind of where the product owner, the scrum master, or whoever's breaking down these tasks. We have columns that represents to do, in progress, code review, and done. It varies, but it's pretty much the same throughout every single company. And just for you guys to take a look, this side, the to-do is like stuff, like if you're building a remote controller and you have to build the on button, they'll break it down into small sections on just building the on button from the UI, the way it looks, to how it works in the background. So it could be a developer who's more experienced in doing the connectivity, the remote control, like the infrared signal. He's gonna build that back-end stuff, and there's a task for him to finish that. So he has to finish that in order for the person in the front end, meaning like whether it's a UI or the way it's supposed to display, to finish that. All of these little tasks tied to each other to get done. And you're gonna be the person who's going to either be in the code review, or you guys are gonna mark it as done, or there's like a QA column for you. This is pretty much tracking where things are in your company. Like if a project manager says, oh my God, where's, how does it look with our on button? Oh, well, it looks like the developer still has it in his queue. He's been looking at it. He's been working at it, but it looks like, you know, Chang's QA reviewed all of the user interfaces and stuff like that. So there's a good visual idea for people throughout the team, all the stakeholders as part of the development lifecycle, to take a look and say, oh, this is where things are in the project. It's just an easy tool to track this. So don't get overwhelmed with all of that. It just becomes so easy.
You know, that's interesting thing about the bugs. In Zoom, you're able to see the all comments, right? So, but the attendees, they are posting the comments, and it says posting to attendees and to panelists, but they cannot see other comments. And I actually just reproduce it. So that's actually a real, the real bug, because in the previous version, everybody was able, I mean, we're able to see the comments. So here we go, like you just see that the issue was released to production. And that's a big deal, actually. It
wasn't maintained correctly. It worked at one point, but they probably did a new fix, it broke it, and nobody maintained it. Nobody went back and tested that feature still works and is behaving correctly.
So congrats with your first bug, actually. Yeah, you can
Second,
report
third.
it. All right.
What tools do we use? Jira, it's the most popular tracking system. When you get a chance to access Jira, the best thing about a QA person is break everything. That's the reason why these tools are in here. Just because we say you're supposed to do this. When I work at my company, people tell me, oh, just do this and that. I don't listen to them. I go way above what they tell me and I break things. I'm like, well, I did this filter and it's not pulling in all of those filtered items. Or I look at this report and it's not tracking correctly. You know, I make those kind of questions. I play around. I'm not just the user of Jira. I actually break Jira too. Jira comes up with updates like, I think every few months or so. And like, I think about 2 weeks ago, they did an update and it broke some permissions. So these are tools that you're using. Make sure you know it in and out. You have the ability to play with it by being in this boot camp, and you want to sell your expertise on this when you go in for an interview. Confluence, it's the most powerful tool to manage a workflow. Confluence is built into Jira. It's pretty much a documentation tool. Like if you want to know what to do or what websites to get to in a company or how to get to a testing information when you start testing a particular website at your company. All that information is in Confluence. It's pretty much a documentation tool. Zephyr, test case management tool. It's steps. It's QA using this tool to write test case steps. Like, given that I have a existing user, then I can log in and once I log in, I have access to all my saved settings. Zephyr is just a tool that you write all the test cases for. Zoom, Slack, I think we all know what that is, and it's a high quality video meetings and our most popular IT messenger. So what tools do we use? We have Android Studio. It's the official integrated development environment for Google's Android operating system, built on JetBrains, IntelliJ, IDEA software, and designed specifically for Android development. We have Xcode. It's an integrated development environment for macOS containing a suite of software development tools developed by Apple for developing software for macOS, iOS, iPad, watchOS, and TVs. Browser Stack, I use that every day at work. It's a cloud web and mobile testing platform that enables developers to test their websites and mobile applications across on-demand browsers, operating systems, and real mobile devices without requiring users to install or maintain an internal lab of virtual machine devices or emulators. Browser Stacks, it's pretty much, some companies don't have the ability to really buy all the devices, and some companies don't really keep all the devices. Meaning, iPad first generation, no company is going to have it, but some users have it, so we have to quickly test on it. Browser Stack allows you to test on it, right? You can test a variety of different devices using Browser Stack. I love it. I even have my own personal copy of Browser Stack because I want to see how certain things behave. Like if I use an Android tablet, Nexus tablet versus a iPad, I can see how it views. That's just for me. Like once you start doing QA, you start getting a little weird. And so you start being, you start having stuff that you never wanted before. Like a pair of jeans from Forever 21, now you want Browser Stack stuff, whatever. You just start loving things that make your life a little bit more happier. So things that I can access and I'm curious as to how they work on different devices, I'll use Browser Stack. Like I don't have an iPad generation 2, so I'll just go into the Browser Stack and try to get that. Or if I don't have an Android phone, I'll go ahead and pull it up and see how it looks and whatnot. So it's just an easy way of accessing different devices, old and new. Charles is an HTTP proxy, HTTP monitor. reverse proxy that enables a developer to view all of the HTTP and SSL traffic between their machine and the internet. This is awesome. There may be some, when you actually go to work, there may be some restrictions on what you can access or not, but it's a great tool because I don't want to get you guys confused, but you can see what calls are being made, all of the calls, meaning like what browsers it's hitting, where it's getting their information from. You can see that. That's allowing you to really look a little deeper, investigating what is the issue. Again, don't get overwhelmed by this. It's just another tool that you can use. And Postman is the only complete API development environment used by more than 7 million developers and 300,000 companies worldwide. I use Postman almost every other day, but it's not a user-friendly look in the sense that if you guys don't know coding, if you're not familiar with request and response, it gets a little overwhelming. But for the information that's being presented to you on a website, they're using API calls. And again, we'll go into that a little bit more with our bootcamp schedule. Sorry about that. And our project. These are projects that we're going to be working on, that we are going to create bug tickets against, test cases against, test plans. If you guys haven't already clicked on it. Let me do the screen share. I'm already. Here's the website.
We actually call it web application, not the site. Site, it's just like a very tiny static page or couple of pages, right? Web application is actually much, much bigger.
I'm a little old school. So web application, you guys can take a look at it. It's hovering over this. You see how the text matches this. It's these small little things. They might be small to you, but they mean a lot to the people who are actually using it. Get familiar with it, access it, start getting a feel of what bugs that you can I think there should be a space there. Should be 30 cents. This doesn't look like it's a national park, but you know, fun bugs, right? Fun bugs. I already got some started for you guys, so there's no excuses. Oh, resume share. On new share. Okay. We also are working on the mobile application, and Marina can go over this in a little bit, but we also have that as part of our bugs that we're going to be creating against. Just a little insight as to what some of our projects going to be. So our first QA task, let's take a selfie. We'll post it in our B6 Bootcamp channel and write a short icebreaker about us. So we have a B6 Bootcamp channel?
In Telegram, probably, right?
yeah, why are we doing this? Let's do this. So this is icebreaker, and like in any company, we have to have a little bit fun. So when you come to your first day in your new company, you will be introduced to your team, and that's how you do this. Like in the next week, we're going to switch over to the Slack. It's another app which is specifically designed, the messenger for development in the professional way. So, but for right now, let's just post the selfie and just a short intro about you. What are you guys doing? Like, I'm a QA student, and let's say I'm working there and there. And that's pretty much it. So people know you're not just your title or your name, but as well your face, right? Let's do this. And next week, we're gonna switch over to the Slack. There we go.
It's going to be all together selfie or everybody individually?
It's up to you. You can do. I like to do all together.
Yeah, this is my selfie spot right here, so I always do it from here.
Where's the channel?
You can post the channel of Slack or
No. Oh, sorry, they're gonna do that.
Telegram.
Okay.
It's only not there yet.
It's fine. It's fine. I don't need to.
Yeah, I think I'm missing one.
We'll do the same exercise from the next week as well. But just for right now.
Is it the chat one?
Yeah, chat. Send it to chat.
Something.
Excuse me, I think I have an issue about like what is the kind of name of this group? Like, I have a TestPro bootcamp group,
Correct.
Telegram.
Yeah.
Can I bring it over there or what?
Yeah, you can put it. There should be a channel.
I got it. I got it. But I don't have any. Can you look at that? Oh yeah.
I got it.
I first see that. Yeah. Or disappeared.
You guys should get to know everybody. Pick at each other's brains. QA may be a large world, but it's a small world.
To the Telegram. Are you? No? How did you got here?
She just put me in the car and she's like, "You're going."
Oh, that's a good thing. I didn't. Okay. You have to.
Is there any, sorry? Has anybody already posted something that's
I got it.
not more like concern question?
A picture.
It's a bug, babe. It's funny. Oh, that's the problem with the Telegram. That you send the picture first and the text go past it, so it's kind of like messed up, you know? The same thing.
Okay, guys, I'll start doing this.
Да.
Yeah, that's true.
Does everybody get to see each other on there? Are we still trying to look good?
Always. There's no box.
Message and I'll send you the invitation to.
Oh, I know. I should put thumbs up to break things. Where's New York class? Come on, guys. Send us a photo. Send it.
Okay.
Did we get any New York people?
Yeah, there are like.
Yeah.
Did they post? Post?
No, not yet.
Oh.
What's with those?
I just sent you the link. So just.
Oh, they got a picture popped up.
Is that right that I posted a picture from the ocean? I got a selfie better from the ocean.
That's a bug right there. It's not you.
Picture came up.
Oh, that's awesome.
So many girls.
Everybody doing moving now. Everybody busy.
Do we get anybody from New York?
Yeah, just
Good.
Maria just sent me
Yours
the,
popped up. Mine didn't pop up.
all
Do it again. It didn't pop up. I got to I'll just pick one.
New York. Houston, Texas. All right.
Woohoo, Houston.
Nice. Florida. Okay.
There.
New York looks sad.
Ready for the indication.
All right, let's move forward. I think that is fun.
Okay, guys. Last chance to update your selfie, but we'll move on to our homework. This is the URL. People keep on asking what LMS is. It's the Learning Management System. It's another acronym. Go ahead and pull this website up. Your homework is to go over these lessons. You guys have any questions?
What's the website again?
Do you have any Wi-Fi here that I can connect now?
So we're gonna post this website to the Telegram channel. So you just give us like a couple minutes. You'll get there.
You guys haven't clicked on this. It's short, whether it's to read the information, to play the videos. you know, we welcome any comments, any questions. The next time that we meet up, make notes. If you have any concerns, anything that's not clear, bring them up. Part of your stand-up meeting was I went through the introduction to QA section. I also revisit the software development lifecycle overview, and I was unclear about the preparing interview questions. Those are something that you want to jot down. You know, it's a quick course, believe it or not. 12 weeks will go by so quickly. It doesn't seem like it will, but it will in a blink of an eye. You'll be like, why did I even take this class? I already knew everything, right? But you want to make sure that if you have any questions, there are no dumb questions. We want everybody to hear what you have, because the other person that's not talking about it probably has the same question that you have. So write it down, go over this homework assignment, go over every single one. They're 10 minutes, some of them are 20 minutes, but review them. That's your homework. And if you don't have the URL, he's going to post it any moment right now.
Just do it.
Good. So everybody should not have an excuse when it comes to completing the homework assignment. So in this particular section,
The link for the second particular, the overall, the general link for the course.
Yeah, I got it, save.
let's, we need a little bit time, Kenny.
Let's go over LMS again.
Okay, we're gonna go back to the course. Oops.
Where is it? So that's pretty much very easy. We structured our course around this system. So everything which is gonna be a source of truth. So if you're gonna be lost or for some reason you miss some classes or etc., so you just go here, Learning Management System, and you see here the topic. It's a little bit cut off. Why is that cut off? So if you go there, you will see the topics on the left. And for example, SDLC overview, right? Which is gonna be your homework. And obviously you have to go through the very first one, introduction, onboarding. We posted all very helpful links here. And just a little bit about the history of QA and definitions and any useful related to QA and SDLC on the left. So from the second week, you're gonna have the full access and we're gonna store everything there. However, you're going to use all other tools that we were covering earlier today, but just focus right now for this tool, right? And that's pretty much it. Do we have any other questions? Can you send a link? I sent a link into Telegram. Oh, you want to put it here? All right, yeah, you got it, right? Any questions? Yes.
I have a question, more like a concern. How likely AI will replace Q?
Okay, when Terminator will come, right? When the judgment day.
Highly unlikely.
All right. The question was, what about AI? When we're gonna be replaced? Yeah, eventually we're gonna be replaced. I'm not gonna. I don't think it's gonna happen like within next 10, 15.
It's not gonna be in our lifetime.
Yeah, don't worry. You'll make a career and you'll jump to something else.
But somebody will have to build artificial intelligence and test it, right? And maintain it.
Yeah, artificial intelligence. I mean, there is already some attempts, and they building the tools. They're trying, but they are not replacing. It's not even close. It's addition. It's like automation. Test automation, like 5 years ago, everybody was concerned. Oh, that test automation will replace manual QA completely. It's not gonna happen. Never, never. It is addition, but it's you won't be able to replace the human being, right? Because artificial intelligence is not there. It's just left, right, right, left. That's pretty much it. So don't worry about that.
Yeah, cars will never replace motorcycles, right? That's it. That's the
Do you guys have internships after the course? We're gonna do the internships here, and not after the course, but during the course. All right, and it's not internship; it's a practice. So those projects that we were showing, it's a real world projects. They are live, and we have agreement with them. So we do testing for them for free, and but they're providing us an access to their system, to the end-to-end system, right? You won't be able, you won't be able to test on Amazon.com or Google, on any production websites. Why? Because production websites, they're usually less buggy, and it's like, the end result, which is supposed to be ideal, but not always. But we're gonna have the access to pre-production environment, which is actually buggy, which is actually in development, right? And as I said, those two projects is gonna be not internship, but it's gonna be practice. All right, let's. I think we're gonna have.
Question?
Hold on. Yes.
Sorry. So manual QA, and you often mention automatization or whatever.
Automation.
Automation. I'm sorry. So is it actually like two different positions, or if I'm starting in manual, that I gotta move into automation, and without it, I can't get any kind of job opportunity?
All right. The question was that is it two different positions, manual and automation, or when you start doing manual, you have to do automation as well? Good question, actually. There's many companies who are doing differently. Some companies, they claiming that they hire only automation engineers, but they all do manual testing. Some companies, they hire only manual testing because they just not able to, they don't have good automation process in the company. Just keeping in mind, implementing test automation process in the company is very expensive thing. It's not like what I'm seeing is about 60% of the companies, they don't have luxury of automating things. A lot of body shops that they're working on ongoing projects that they're working for clients, they build in the 6 months and they release, and they working on other projects. Those type of projects, they will never be automated until something really happens. What I can tell you that for right now, back to your question, yes, if you want to earn more money, definitely, and you want to increase your skills, you definitely need to learn automation in the future, in the near future, right? Right after you're getting the first job. But yeah, most of the time, like let's say if you open the Indeed.com or Glassdoor or any job boards and you type QA engineers, QA analysts, QA testers, those type of jobs, they are manual. Even you will see in the job requirements there, like nice to have or required, like to have automation skills. It's not true. The truth is that if they need test automation engineer or QA automation engineer, the job title will be QA automation or software development in test, which is actually automation, and which is actually should be paid way less or way more than the other ones. More than QA engineers or QA analysts. That's the bottom line. If they usually put there like, oh, we want you to do everything, and you should be able to do automation, et cetera, et cetera. It's like, you go into nightclub and you're trying to hit the most beautiful girl there, right? And vice versa, right? But your abilities may be not there. You should be realizing what you're trying to achieve, right? Maybe a bad example, but it's...
No, it's amazing.
I mean, you know, when you see, I want like a billionaire guy, oh, like girls, right? They want to see, I want to marry just on the billionaire guy, right? And that's it. But I'm like, that's my requirement, right? But come on, all guys are billionaires, right? So the same thing in the job market. Everybody wants the hottest guy, like who is able to do everything, right? With paying no money. So
Free.
for free, exactly. I mean, obviously I'm trying to exaggerate, but if the title QA engineer, QA analyst, QA engineer is a little bit more technical, but even in engineering position, it's not required be automation. They're trying to move forward, but still. Hope I answered your question. So let's move forward. Who do we have?
So our next presentation, we have some special guests, and they're actually our prior students, I'm assuming, right?
Yes. Let me ask Marina, who is on the...
Yeah, it will be Igor. Please unmute the Igor.
Unmute the Igor. Igor, where are you? Let me find you.
Igor, raise a hand, please.
Okay, let me see. Okay, I see Igor. Unfortunately, the setup right now is we won't be able to see his face.
He's not a robot. He's a real live student.
Not AI. Unmute. Igor, you are unmuted. Hey, Igor.
Hi, Igor.
Igor. You know, Marina, we actually have Anya here from B4. And let me...
Basic 4.
Basic 4, right? Let me pull her up. Because I think Igor has some connection issue, yeah. You want to... Anya. All right, we have another good example. Student, come over here, Anya.
Hi, guys.
They're over there. Anya is our previous student. She just graduated like this week, last week. And Anya already got a job.
Yeah, and I've been working for 2 weeks now.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. You can talk to her, you guys. You can talk to her.
Stop sharing the screen.
Stop sharing. Do you guys, okay, we can see you. All right.
Yeah.
So, Anya, just quickly, like, can you tell us how was your path, like before? What did you do before the QA actually?
I've done a lot of things. I'm still doing these things. So yeah, I've had a hostel. I still have a hostel, and I manage Airbnbs, and I just wanted to do some intellectual work. And I thought that QA stuff, and I watched the videos with guys, and I was impressed with their achievements. And so I thought, sounds interesting.
Do you have any technical background before?
No, I actually studied humanities, philology, so literature. No, I didn't have any technical skills.
Okay.
But I would say still I'm more rational than irrational, but yeah, but no technical education prior to the diploma.
Okay, how did you get your first job? I mean, the first job, right?
I think it's a combination of talking to my classmates every day because of your stand-ups. Your boot camp. I mean, the environment that you created for us to always be. We're talking every day. We're studying. And then you see people who've done this and they've done it successfully. And you feel, oh, if they did it, I can do it too.
I'm asking, like, did you apply directly? Did they find you somewhere else? Like,
How did you get your first?
how did you get your first job, basically?
Oh, I posted my resume on Dice, and I was applying through LinkedIn, through all of the websites, and but my employer, the company that I work right now, they found me on Dice.
On Dice.
Yeah.
So they reached you out directly, and you got the whole process, interviews, right?
Yeah.
How long it took you?
I think they reached out to me for the first time in September. It was September 6th, and then it took a month. And
A month?
so, yeah, a long process. And I had a 4-hour interview with them, yeah.
Ah, that's so sweet. Like 4 hours interview.
Yeah.
Was grilling.
With different people, not just
With different.
With different people. Then 1 hour and a half, I took their test, aptitude test, reading comprehension, then IQ test. And
Even IQ.
yeah.
Wow, that's something not very common, right? Okay.
Yeah.
She got a special one. She got a special interview.
Yeah.
That's not normal.
I thought you don't have any technical background, like.
Well, I prepared for the interview.
Okay.
I didn't know that I'm gonna have the test, and that they didn't tell me that it's gonna last 4 hours, the interview.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but it was.
How your those 2 weeks in your new job? Can you describe a little bit briefly?
So from Monday till Wednesday, 3 days, we had Microsoft training. The person from Microsoft trained us in a tool. It's similar to Jira. It's called Azure DevOps. No,
Azure
I think
DevOps,
you
yep.
know it. Yeah. We have on Friday, yesterday, we had 3 meetings. I don't think that, I think in 2 weeks, I've not done much.
Million meetings.
All right. Do they have beers, like kind of these things?
It's pretty chill. A lot of meetings. Also, we have a 4-week sprint.
4-week sprint.
But by the end of the year, we only have 1 release.
Oh wow!
So it's
Nice.
pretty, yeah.
Nice. All right, guys. Thank you, Anya, for your sharing. And Anya is not the only one, right? Yes. Also?
Yes, and we have I think 5 people now, or 4 now.
I don't know them.
Anyway, you can find me.
Anybody has?
If you have any questions, you can Slack me, email me.
Any questions
find me.
right now? Anybody in the room asking
Facebook
her
me.
anything to pick her brain?
Will you help to get the first job? I think it's a question to us.
Okay.
If you okay. Of course, the whole point of this course to learn your job. Yeah. Yeah, guys, if you have any other questions, thank you, Anya. Right? How they can find you?
Find me on Facebook. Anya VDO VYCHENKO.
Pretty simple, right? Russian name is like 2 letters.
Are we getting Igor on?
Igor, are you here? How much Anya does get? Okay. That's a private, but I think she got pretty decent one. Hold on. Igor, do you?
She got something within the range of that advertisement that you probably all saw. Otherwise, she wouldn't speak up.
More than 35. More than 35.
Per hour, yeah.
Yeah, per hour. Igor, I can see you, but let me unmute you.
And she actually got a job while taking the bootcamp. So she hasn't graduated from the bootcamp. She got a job.
Wait. No.
Wait. I can't see him.
Participants up there?
Yes, I'm sure. Oh, okay. Then is
First guy.
Okay. Igor.
Hey, I'm here.
Hey, here we go. Finally.
Yeah, I hope you don't see me.
Finally.
Yeah, okay. Could you please tell us, like, first of all, where you're from and what's your background?
Oh, I'm from Ukraine, actually, and my background, I used to work like salesperson in Ukraine. It's not really technical. I don't have technical background, but that skill definitely helped me to pass the interview because it's very important skill.
Where do you located right now?
Oh, I'm in Seattle, Washington.
Seattle, Washington. How long it took you like to get your first job?
Probably, let's say, after I finished your school, it took me just 3 weeks. But after I finished my first QA school, I tried to find a job within 1 year, and yeah, I didn't find it.
Yes, here's a little bit background. We got some students, not just who finished, I mean, we have some students who finished other schools, like other competitors, I can say that. And Igor is actually one of them, right? You finished the other school you mentioned like a year ago, right?
Yep. Yeah, I finished one school, very popular, but I don't want to say which one. And then really after that school, I'm not gonna say that I was bad student, but my interview that they asked me to create a test case and I failed. I don't know how, but in your school, yeah, definitely I learned how to do everything, create test cases, bug reports, everything that I need at my work. And yeah, because the other I can compare to schools, and someone of course can find, but it really should be lucky to find from that school, that first one. But
yeah, what do you think? I don't want to say like, oh, TestPro, you did help me, but what was really the thing for you? What do you think? Like, how did you find the job? Like, what really helped you besides the knowledge? Besides the knowledge.
I don't really know. Well, my passion.
Your passion.
Yeah. And
how many times you failed actually? Can you share like how many times you failed before you got a job? Even with the count after you graduated the first.
Okay, it was
the first
five times. But after your school, I just went to one first interview and I passed it, I believe.
And you got it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, let me add here something. What I'm seeing, like, there is Anya and Igor. They have completely different backgrounds, right? Obviously, and we have multiple students who have way different backgrounds. We have like ladies who have, within like mid-age, like top mid-age, right? And we have like very young guys. But what I'm seeing from across those students who was able to manage the job, to get a job, they were persistent. You know, you have to be prepared. Like, you will be failing. You will go to the job market, and it's the learning process. It's a painful process, but you should admit it. You failed it. You have to say, okay, that's a good experience for me, and I'm move forward. You know, what I'm saying, usually you have to fail at least like 3 face-to-face interview before start claiming, oh, I'm doing something wrong. Actually, from the first fail, you have to learn something, what you did wrong, and you have to implement in the second interview. So you have to expect like you will fail maybe at the first 3, 5 face-to-face interview. Some of you will get it early, some of you will get it later, but that's the process. It's gonna be painful. It's not really I don't really like it. It's always stressful, but that's how you.
It's part of life.
It's a part of life, exactly.
Part of life.
You have to take hits, but you won't die from that. So don't be worried. Don't be shy. Just move forward.
Can you give us day-to-day at your job, just how you can correlate it, how you can show us the similarities between this course and your day-to-day?
That's a good one.
Can you ask me again, because I missed first part of the question?
Can you explain your day-to-day job? What do you do right now, and how it's correlate to the boot camp that you had here when you were?
Okay, yeah, gotcha. Actually, what I'm doing right now is totally different. It's just 10% of my studying. It just I did a lot more when I was studying, but now I just creating the bug reports, and
it's easier, right?
Easier. It's a lot easier.
Isn't getting a job and actually getting in the company much easier? We're giving you a lot of information. This is not. It's what we do on a day-to-day. We're giving you all of our experience that we've had in a company. But when you get in a company, sometimes all you're doing is just bug reporting. You're just like, that doesn't look good, create bugs. That's depending on what role you get and how key your position is. You could be paid the same high-level QA engineer, and you could just be a complete manual tester, and you can go to the speed of the project. Like, she had a release every 4 weeks, so it's not as urgent. Or you can have a project or a product that it needs to go out right away because it's a huge deadline. It has to do with people's health or whatever. But if it's like a once in a while kind of thing, it all depends on what company you get. It could be like, you could be in meetings every day, and then you just go to lunch. I do too, and then you go do bug testing. The thing is, don't be afraid because of the terminology when you start applying. Am I correct, Igor?
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and one thing that I want to say, just a quick example, because we used to learn a lot of tools in school. And when I came to the job, at my first day, they gave me their most stable version of the application. And they asked me, you can practice just there. And of course, there is no bugs. And because I learned a lot from the school, different approaches, and I found like 20, 30 bugs per 2 days. And they were shocked, really, because it's really nice experience. Because, we used to learn a lot of different approaches and different tools.
Igor, are you comfortable to disclose your pay rate, or like maybe the range of your pay rate?
Yeah, it's $60,000.
$60,000 a year, right?
Yeah, but it's not the big money for this field. Yeah, it is for Seattle.
At least for the first job, it's totally fine.
It's not bad. Not bad. But
Yeah.
I have full time, and it's really, I don't have to work 8 hours a day, and I can work from home a couple days a week, and it's really nice company to work.
Mm-hmm. All right, thank you for sharing.
Wait, one important question, Igor. Does your break room have beer and wine?
I could have, but I don't drink. But I have everything, like in Google, I could say.
So you really have a beer, beer tap at your job?
Oh,
company.
No, but no, I don't. But I saw a couple developers. I think they have the beer. I'm guessing.
Our job is a little bit more stressful than ours. So it's understandable.
That's all we care, right? Do they have tap beer there? No.
Yeah.
All right.
Any words of wisdom for the new students, Igor? Anything to help them calm their fears and not be a little nervous about this?
Yeah, just do whatever they want you to do. The teachers. And don't give up. Don't give up after your 10th failed. Just keep going, and you'll be there definitely if you will spend enough time to study. Because if you thinking that it's really easy to get there. No, it's not easy. You have to spend enough time, but you definitely will be there. Don't give up.
All right, let me get back to the data about the salary range that we have from our students. We have multiple students who got the lower end was $22 an hour for the first job. We have, but it's like maybe 10% from them. The average is about 30 to 40, 45, the highest. But the highest, like we have, it's like maybe another 10% who got $60 an hour and $50 an hour, 55. But the average is 30 to 40, I would say. You can count on those.
Yeah, the top student got 129,000 a year full time.
Yeah.
A student?
A student, yeah.
Without a job experience.
Without a job
That's
experience.
actually the starting, I mean, I'm not saying starting, but depending on the city, I think right now Austin and Dallas is actually that's pretty much the entry level. I know that because I have a friend who actually just got a job and he is completely entry level, no experience. And he just said the right words and the right things. And he actually took a full stack class of Coding Dojo. And, it depends on what you know and how you present yourself. The more you know and you stand behind it and you're confident, you have to sell yourself. You have to be able to sell yourself. You don't make an impression if you just say, it doesn't work that way. If you can sell yourself, you can get a pretty good entry level range. And the benefits that come with it is pretty awesome.
How many students from previous? It was about 60 people who finished the previous course. Let me answer the other one. How realistic is to find a job through online interview? Actually, it's about like 50% companies who is actually interviewing through the Skype or Zoom or like those type of thing. If you live, for example, in Los Angeles and they are in Los Angeles, yeah, they will invite you to. Actually, they might do a Zoom meeting before they will invite you to the company. But I give you an example. Like I got an offer from Dallas remotely. I got an offer from New Orleans. Actually, they paid me for flight to go there and all accommodation there. So that was an easy one. Seattle, the same thing. So that's pretty common.
So when it comes to remote jobs, my last company, I worked for 1 year full-time from home, and I left the company. Because there is, I wouldn't say for QA it's like normal, but usually 1 or 2 days from home, most of the companies offer, which is another very nice benefit that you will probably never find anywhere else. It's just in tech world. Most of my team was actually working remotely from different cities. But it's a combination of luck and your search kind of capabilities, because again, if your goal is to get a remote job, it's possible, but it can be tough.
Question? No? That's it? Any other question so far? Do you have anything to add?
Igor, if Igor is still on the line, one of the students said, can you share some of the interview questions that was asked of you? Just a few or a couple that you can recall?
All questions you will find in the school. I don't know, because I can say, yeah, they asked me about the bug reports and how do I create a bug report. They asked me about the process in my company, how do I get it built and all this stuff. And then different communication skills. They asked me about how do I communicate with developers and all. But to be honest, I didn't let them ask me the questions. I told them what I wanted to say, and they really probably they had a list of questions, like maybe 20 or maybe more, but from this list they asked me just maybe 5-7 questions. That's all. But this is important skills that you will get from your school.
I mean, can you give some example? What kind of question did they ask? Obviously, tell me about yourself.
Tell me about yourself. But it wasn't like the straight question, tell me about it. I just tell about myself. They didn't even ask me about it. But then, yeah, like I said, bug reports. How do I create a bug report? Then test case. What included in bug reports?
Any crazy technical questions did they ask?
On this interview, no.
That's right.
If I mentioned about API, I mentioned about database, and then they didn't ask me. If they wanted to ask me something about it, maybe they can catch me on
Probably they just didn't really know about it that much.
Yeah.
Do they require like programming knowledge, any kind of programming knowledge?
Say it again?
Any kind of programming knowledge?
Did they require the programming language knowledge?
No. But in my resume, they saw like, oh, you know JavaScript. I say, yeah, like a manual tester. I know, and that's it.
Heard about it. Okay.
That's it. That's
all right.
It was easy. Yep, you're welcome. Good luck.
Thank you.
Awesome. Congratulations.
Congrats. All right, we have like a few minutes for Q&A, questions and answers. We just continue. Will you give us some schedule? It's actually posted in the Telegram. Just check the Telegram.
And I think just to add to this, you know, one of our last week for boot camp ends, we have a mock interview, and we highly suggest that people try to get the resume, even if it's a rough draft, just for us to look at it so we can see. You know, we're not just doing that so we can laugh at you. We're looking at that so we can say, hey, these are suggestions, these are what could be improved, because we've seen so many resumes come on our desk, and we hear what our other teammates and what they make comments about. So we're doing this so that you can be ready. The more that you participate, the more that you ask questions, this is how you succeed. Because if you're in QA and you're just quiet, that's not the position that is for you. You have to speak up. That's how you're gonna get heard. That's how you're gonna get a job. You know, one of the mock interview that I do remember, it's like, tell them about yourself. Tell them the key points. You know, you're going to QA. You are going to be testing APIs. You want them to hear all that. When you hear all that, you're probably going to leave them speechless. And they're like, well, this guy probably already knows what he does. We go through this mock interview. We have like a list of interview questions that we've been asked these questions from his experience, my experience. We've all gathered them into one session. And we highly suggest that you guys practice, because you know, practice makes perfect, and it shows by all the students that are getting these jobs like 2-3 weeks right after the course.
Yeah, actually the question was about the topics, and it's gonna be in LMS, the link early that we send you. It's also posted in the Telegram, in the channel, not in the chat. So just check the last message of Telegram channel, go there. You will see the links. Let me give just a little bit brief overview, like how it will look like, right? So you need to be expecting what you will get it. So as I said, we're trying to imitate the real work environment, and the most time we actually gonna be doing the same thing. What it means that we will push you through to do problem solving. That's the most, I think that's the most essential skill for QA engineer and engineering in development, and that's actually what you will be going to be paid for. If you go to the learning management system previously that we posted, and you will see the guidance, how to solve the problem, how to solve the issue in the bootcamp, and if you will have a question, and you will see the step-by-step, the algorithm first step will be Google it. That will be the most, that's gonna be the most popular phrase you probably will hear from us. Why is that? It's not because we're lazy to provide you information, it's just because the reality that you are facing in your future company. Most of the time, they will not have any information, or they will not have a requirements even, or the good documentation, like what do you have to test, or how to install this and that. You won't be able to, I mean, you will have some like QA lead or QA manager, but he is not gonna be your babysitter, right? So all stuff you have, it's very essential skills. If you're not able to Google it, probably you will be, it's not type of the work that you want to go. Then obviously you will be working with the teams. On the second week, we're gonna divide you in a group of 10, and from those group, you will be converting to a team, right? What's the difference between team and group, you know? The group is just a group of people who doesn't have the goal, right? Team usually have goal, right? It's like a game. The end goal is to get a job, right? You will have the same ceremonies or the same activities that we doing in our work. So one of them we just showed you was a stand-up. Another one will be, we'll cover this in the second week. So you will be working in a team, right? So after Google, you go to your team. You have to figure it out. You have to help each other. Be nice to each other, right? That's also another essential skill to be in this field, because you're going to be working in a team, not by yourself. You won't have direct managers. I mean, you will have direct managers, but they are not those people who will be telling you what to do. The team, actually, you will be picking the assignments from the team. And if you fail, the whole team fail, right? So there's no room for blaming and pointing fingers. Oh, I didn't do that because of this guy and that guy. So that's another thing. That's, you have to come up with a team. You have to do stand-ups daily. It's a commitment 3 months. And then it's gonna be, you will have a team leads even, right? Team leads is actually a person who either previously finished the bootcamp, but he wants to repeat it again, and he a little bit ahead in the knowledge, but he is in the same learning process, and he can help you out, right? Actually, a team lead is a guy or a girl who just decided to take more responsibility, right? Not to achieve her own goal or his goal, but the team's goal. And then obviously you have teachers, us, and meetups, community, networking, right? As I said, we have meetups across the country: New York, Seattle, Florida. We're gonna have, as I said, San Diego, and all those meetups actually coming people who are in the industry. So QA managers, QA directors, they will come to those meetups, and you have to be prepared, right? That's pretty much it, guys. That's pretty much it. And the next lesson will be on Tuesday. It's gonna be online. Be prepared, right? You have to be in LMS and learning management system. All right?
Is that when the homework is due on Tuesday?
Is there any homework? Is there any homework?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, what I'm saying is that when the homework is due on Tuesday?
Not really. By the end of this week, you have to finish the whole thing. That's the cycle of the sprint. We don't manage your day-to-day, but you have a task for a week, right? How you gonna manage it? We don't care. The same thing in your company. How you gonna manage it? Nobody cares. You can go home right now and just work from home, or like you can come early and leave early as well, or come later and leave later work, right? Nobody cares. The only cares is the result. I don't care how you're gonna do this. I just care that you will finish it, right? You'll be able, I mean, we're adults. All right, I mean, anything else? Will you share the recording? Yes, we'll do. All right, guys, I think we covered a lot, and I hope your brain didn't blow up yet. So see you on Tuesday, right?
Bye, everyone.
Thank
Have a good
you.
Saturday.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.